my name is Shelby Yake. Cooking is an essential part of our daily lives. Food is necessary for survival and we can't live off of takeout alone. An important part of cooking is cutting because tearing our food is not ideal. Most food in its natural form is too large for us to consume, so we must break it down into smaller pieces. Our food also needs to be fabricated, which means removing the inedible part from our food. So before we get started with actually cutting our pepper, we need to go through the essentials that you're going to need. First off, you need to check your attire. So that means ladies, you need to put your hair pulled back and out of your face. You should not have any fake nails or any nail polish on to prevent a physical contaminant from getting into your food. You also need to make sure that the actual clothes you're wearing are not going to be a distraction. They're not going to get in the way of what you're cooking. Then, if you are cutting a ready-to-eat food item, you need to make sure that you wear gloves. The first item you're going to need for cutting something is obviously going to be a knife. You want to make sure that your knife is sanitary, so it should be washed in warm and soapy water, then rinsed, sanitized, rinsed again, and dried. You want your knife to be extremely sharp because a dull knife is so much more dangerous than a sharp knife. The quality of your knife is also extremely important. I am using a Victorinox, which is the same company that makes the Swiss Army knife. However, Dexter and Mercer are also fantastic knives that are of good quality and are also really inexpensive. Holding your knife is something that not very many people actually know how to do correctly. Most people, when they pick up a knife, they want to take their index finger and put it along the back of their knife like this. But you want to avoid doing so because that puts you at risk for your finger slipping and thus cutting yourself. So instead, you want to curl your index finger around the blade and press it firmly against the blade. And then you need your thumb to be pressed up against the blade as well, while your remaining three fingers hold the handle. When you have your index finger and your thumb placed on the blade, you have so much more control over your knife. Your opposite hand is also extremely important in the position of your knife. You should push the food to the knife, not the knife to the food. And when you hold your food, you don't want to place your hand flat because that puts your fingertips at risk for being cut. So you want to make the claw, as chefs call it, which is when you curl your fingertips under and your knuckles are going to act as a barrier. So if your knife ever does get close to your opposite hand, you are not going to cut yourself because it's hitting your knuckle. The second most important item that you're going to need is a cutting board. I'm using a plastic cutting board because it is the most sanitary, but you can also use cutting boards made out of different materials such as wood, but you want to make sure you use a hardwood such as bamboo because soft woods can get cracks in them easily and thus bacteria can grow those cracks and then contaminate your food. The last essential item you're going to need are bowls. I know it sounds crazy, but they're very important in staying organized in the kitchen. You need one bowl for your waste and then one bowl for your final product. So let's get started. The first step is to cut off the ends of your pepper so that you have a uniform size to work with. So with your claw in your opposite hand, hold your pepper, pick up your knife, and you want to make one firm, even cut all the way down the pepper. You want to keep as much of the bottom of the pepper in one piece as possible to avoid more work for you later. Then again, you want to cut the top of the pepper off, so curl your hand and make one swift cut all the way down the pepper. You want to keep as much of the body intact as possible. Once you have the bottom and the top cut off, a lot of times the stem will just pop off like it just did. If it doesn't, you can just easily pop it out with your thumb. The next step is to remove the ribs and the seeds that are in your pepper. So you want to stand your pepper up, pick up your knife, and make a slit right down the body. So you now easily just have one little cut open. Then you want to place your pepper skin side down. You want to place your knife parallel to the flesh of the pepper and with your opposite hand curl the pepper and with your dominant hand push your knife through the pepper to remove the insides. Now we have a large rectangle of a pepper of sorts. So now that we have our rectangle done, the next step is to julienne our pepper. The definition of a julienne cut is 1/8 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch by 2 inches. But basically it just means to cut something into strips. So for the home cook, any size strip will do just fine. To julienne a pepper, you want to make sure that it's on the skin side is flat down on your cutting board. Again, make your claw, and with a swift rocking motion, you don't want the tip of your knife to leave your cutting board. You just want to move it back and forth as you push the food through your knife. The top and bottom of your pepper can also be used. They're still perfectly edible. While it's not technically a specific julienne cut, it is still the basic concept of cutting something into strips. So just place it skin side down, and then again with swift front to back motions, just move your knife through your pepper to make even cuts. And then again, the same thing with the bottom. Just put it skin side down. Now we have a julienne cut. So if we want to get to a dice, it's very simple. Dice can range from a large dice to a fine brunoise. A large dice can be as large as a 3/4 of an inch cube, while a fine brunoise is as small as 1/16 of an inch cube. So pretty much a simplified dice is just any size cube. A cube is very simple. You just want to take the julienne strips of your pepper. With your opposite hand, firmly hold them together, curl your fingers under, push them firmly against your knife, and again, your swift front to back motion. And you just want to continue that as you get all the way through your pepper. These skills can be applied to just about anything in cooking. A julienne cut and a dice cut can be used on about any vegetable or fruit out there. But then again, the safety tips we learned are far more important. Now you know what to wear, what cutting board to use, the proper way to hold a knife, and just how to be a little bit more comfortable in the kitchen. But then again, the most important thing is always to have fun. Thank you.